On a peaceful afternoon, a couple is spending a lazy day together. But there are these mischievous little creatures. They've got this weird charm to them. It's hard to look away. This is Venus and Mars, painted by the Renaissance master Sandro Botticelli. The usual interpretation is pretty simple. Mars represents power and war, while Venus represents love. And it turns out those half-human, half-goat creatures are satyrs. They often appear in the processions of Bacchus, and they're all about instinct and pleasure. Here, they're crawling into Mars's armor. One even blows into a conch shell right by his ear. It's a symbol closely tied to Venus, and its shape has a distinctly feminine quality. On the other hand, the long spears held by the satyrs can be read as a symbol of masculinity. The scene starts to hint at something more between the two. Mars sleeping right through all that noise fits the same idea. This isn't just sleep. He looks like a lover completely worn out after a passionate night. This is the moment when war lays down its arms before love. And that's usually how people read this painting. Love, conquering war, and violence. But here's the strange part. Mars is lying there with barely a piece of cloth covering him, while Venus is actually quite modestly dressed. So why did Botticelli portray these two figures so differently? To answer that, we first need to look at exactly what kind of relationship these two really had. Venus and Mars were far from an ordinary couple. Theirs was one of mythology's most famous affairs. And Venus was already married to Vulcan, the god of the forge, known for being anything but good-looking. When Apollo told Vulcan about Venus and Mars, he crafted an incredibly intricate net of chains and caught the two lovers together in bed. Then he called every god on Olympus to come and see, turning the trapped couple into a spectacle for everyone to laugh at. Calling Venus and Mars a secret affair is a bit of a stretch. They already had 4 children together, including the well-known Cupid. That's a pretty terrible secret. So Botticelli could have portrayed them much more boldly like in these paintings. You could chalk this up to a simple aesthetic choice, but there's clearly more going on here. Mars's body resembles the idealized male form of ancient Greek sculpture. This was the kind of beauty that fascinated Florence at the time. But let's take a closer look at Venus, her braided hair falling forward, its ends firmly secured to her dress with a jewel. This dress wasn't just draped over her body, it was made so it couldn't easily slip off. Her modest appearance and slight smile even recall the Virgin Mary in Primavera. Around the same time, Botticelli painted the birth of Venus, showing her completely nude, the same goddess portrayed in 2 different ways. Which brings us to the real question: why is Venus so carefully covered? The answer lies in the space where this painting actually hung. This painting was made as a long, horizontal panel, about 70 by 173 centimeters. In the Renaissance, this type of panel was called a spalliera. The word comes from the Italian spalla, meaning shoulder, because these panels were typically hung around shoulder height. They were often used to decorate the bedchambers of newlywed couples. And this is where things started to click for me. The space where this painting hung was already telling a story about marriage. The myrtle plant behind her was traditionally linked to Venus, and was also a symbol of marriage. Perhaps Venus isn't simply being presented as the goddess of love. She may also be standing in for the ideal bride of the time, beautiful, desirable, but modest. And now even Mars's bare body starts to look different. One of the most important roles of marriage at the time was to produce an heir, preferably a son to carry on the family name. And here's something interesting. People at the time believed that looking at images of beautiful men could actually help a woman have a son. It sounds absurd to us now, but back then, it was taken quite seriously. Now, look at Mars's body through that lens. Young, strong, and healthy. You can read it as the ideal image of masculinity, one believed to help a woman have a healthy son. Suddenly, the way they're dressed finally starts to make sense. But that leads to another question. Who was this painting actually made for? The answer may be hidden here. The tiny wasps flying around Mars. In Italian, the word for wasp is Vespa, and one of Florence's most powerful families was the Vespucci, and the wasp was also their symbol. That's why some researchers believe the painting was commissioned by the Vespucci family. Venus has another story to tell. She brings to mind Simonetta Vespucci, considered the most beautiful woman in Florence at the time. According to later stories, she became Botticelli's muse for The Birth of Venus and many of his other paintings. But she died in 1476. This painting was made much later in the 1480s, so she couldn't have actually sat for it as the model. This painting was more than just a mythological love story. It was really about marriage, desire, and family legacy, all wrapped up in one scene. Venus is still awake. Mars is still asleep. It's been over 500 years, and inside that scene, time seems to have stopped. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.